So I'm going to start off with a almond on the inside of my eyes. Now the outside of my eye is similar to fawn, but I don't remember the exact color for sure. Now recently I have been blending my makeup in with a brush. I did use sponges and I did use beauty blenders for a while, but here recently I've been like real stuck on using brushes. Now you may have noticed I did skip the foundation for this look. I don't know, here recently, probably about a year or two ago, I really stopped using foundation, mostly because it had my makeup looking so heavy. So I only use foundation if it's going to be like a photo shoot look or going out, just something dramatic. But for like a soft beat, I don't use foundation anymore. Now, depending on the look, that depends on what type of color I'm going to use for the contour of my nose. And with this particular look, I decided to go with fawn. Well, it's not particularly fawn, but it's close to fawn. The same color I used on the corners of my eye, because I wanted more of like a yellow look this go round. Now I am using a Sony CX-ZV-E10 for my recording, and y'all are going to see me doing a lot of zooming in and out because I'm still trying to adjust to this camera, considering I am coming from a Canon. So with this being my first makeup video, I know in like a couple more I'll finally get the camera situation together. What did I just touch? I don't know. And then like when I touch the iOS, it makes it dark when I'm zoomed out. But you know what? I don't want my video to be super dark. I kind of like the dark aesthetic. Let me see. That's just too bright, and when I started I had it on 800. We're gonna go with the 160. Okay, so I just changed up my settings and it's giving this, but we're still gonna continue on with the makeup video. so I adjusted my camera settings again. Like I say, I'm new to this camera, so I didn't even know that it had a smooth filter on. But as I was literally looking at the camera, I'm like, I look so fucking airbrushed. So I just turned that off, and now you can actually see my real complexion and everything. And now it's giving makeup tutorial. I was like, I look so fucking fake just a few minutes ago. So yeah. Okay, y'all, so I just adjusted my settings again, because like I said, I'm still learning this camera, and I'm glad I'm doing it now, so that way it'll be, you know, all set. So when I record my next video, I won't have to keep stopping and toying with it. So I believe this gonna be the final camera setting, you know, at least with this lens, and this I'm liking. So now y'all can actually see what's going on with my makeup. So for my eyebrows, I did go in with the yellow tone again. I have to figure out what color that is, because it's not fawn. I do have a fawn, but this is some like yellow tone. I have to really figure out what color it is, because I don't remember. And while we're here, I have been tinting my eyebrows lately with this Amazon tattoo gel. I've been doing this for like 6 to 8 months, and as I'm editing the video, I'm kind of realizing, you know, that my eyebrows were definitely giving sister this go around and not twins. And part of the reason with that is I do wear glasses and contacts, but I did not have my contacts in for this video. And for some odd reason, like my face on my right side is more relaxed. It's always been like that. So I know y'all can kind of see like this higher arch on the left side of my face. Or when I talk, the left side lifts up higher. And you can even tell in my nose. So my eyebrows aren't just completely drastic off, but they were definitely giving sister this video and not twins. So don't judge me, not too much. Now for the top of my eyebrows, I'm going in with this brown tone. It's 11, I forgot the brand, but this is also the tone that I kind of use for like my base around my face, since I no longer wear foundation. But it's like a warmish brown. Now, even though I tint my eyebrows, when I do add to them or draw them on, in the corners closest to my eyes, I always go with like a brown. I like ombre looking eyebrows. So I always go in with a brown, and I end towards the archway with black. like I said, for the top part of my eyebrows, I went in with this brown color called 11. I forgot the brown. That is the same color that I use for the base around my face. Typically, I will mix, under my cheeks with this brown and like a yellow tone. But since I was going for like a real natural look, I didn't want it to be too bright down there. I just went with 11 all the way. Now for my cheeks, this color is 12. It's the same brand as the 11 that I'm using. I need to really figure out what brand this is that I'm using. Hopefully I can actually name drop the brands on my next video. But this is going to be a 12, and then on my nose it's an 11, of course. But I'm going to undergo the 12 with an 11 on my cheeks and my nose. Also, I do know that I'm using like random brushes for my blending. I know how to use the brushes for, certain areas of my face that I'm using them for. However, I do have actual brushes for each area, so please, unless you actually know what you're doing, do not use like a random brush. As you can see, for this dark contour, I'm using more of a slanted brush, especially on my nose area. My actual brushes that I typically use for each step of my makeup, I did wash them prior to this video and they weren't dry yet, so now I did decide to add a yellow tone to my natural base around my face, well, at least under the cheeks. I typically do this with every makeup look, but that was not the plan with this particular makeup look because I wanted more of the brown natural. But after finishing and looking at it, it was just too even all around, and I wanted it a little bit bright under there for, when I add my blush, it can be like a tiny drastic, difference. Now, once again, that's that same yellow, similar to fawn tone that I did use, above and below my lips, because I like for it to have like a slight color change. It also slightly changes, like my face shape, but I really need to figure out what color it is I'm using. Now that my under eyes are done, I'm going to go in with a translucent powder in, like the creases of my eye, the inner corners. And then towards the outside corners of my eyes, I'm going to go in with a medium yellow brand. I know that one is by Fit Me, and the inner is, I think it's banana something, but it's like an orange case. Now for the bottom of my cheek, under my cheekbones, that setting powder that I use is translucent. It's that same little banana brand. I need to figure out the name, but I decided I wanted more of like a bright undertone beneath my cheeks with this makeup look. Now, throughout my makeup, I always like to brush over my face with either the base color I'm using or my foundation brush. You know, it just evens everything out, especially when I'm doing like brighter tones for certain contoured areas of my face, so it just doesn't be so bright all over. And so for the setting powder for my nose, it is going to be that medium color by Fit Me. I like to go more yellow bright as you can tell as I do my makeup, because when I'm in the light, it really makes a difference. I don't like doing one color all over. Now, I absolutely love setting spray. Depending on the look and the location that I'm going will depict if I'm going to do a matte setting spray or a dewy. But I use setting spray throughout the entire process of my makeup, and I start off with setting spray as well. Okay, y'all, so this is what I would consider like a classic natural soft beat, not a everyday, because I did go a little heavier on the concealer and on my eyebrows than I would do on a natural day, especially a hot summer day. But if I'm going for like a soft beat or a soft glam, this is going to be the look that I always start off with before I get to the eyeshadows. Now I'm really just trying to analyze what type of eyeshadow look I'm gonna go for to complete this soft look. And of course I'm gonna line my lips with dark brown and like a pinkish nude. So let me see what eyeshadow we're gonna go with. I'll probably go in with some browns. So I think I'm gonna do like a natural tone. Not too much, because I really don't want to take away from this face. But I want something that gives like a subtle, just not real natural, not super sexy, just something like in between, like real subtle. I think I'm gonna go with like a neutral brown with like a hint of like a raspberry like pink. So above my eyebrows, I decided to go with like a brown, bronze, neutral type of color. And I'm going to do this following the entire top part of my eyelid. Now, I am using two separate palettes between, you know, the shades of brown that I'm using for my top eyelid. One is going to give me like a soft, subtle, semi-dark brown, subtle color. And then the second one is going to be kind of a highlight palette. It's going to give me that bronze look. The bronze is what I'm going on top of the subtle brown. me zoom in so that I can see. So I did add like a soft glitter. It's like a bronze glitter I'm gonna add just so, you know, just to my lid. Yeah, a little above my lid, so. And so right here, this is that bronze second palette I was talking about that I'm adding on top of that brown. Now for this part, the middle of my eyelid is going to be like a soft burgundy, and I'm going to go over it with a burgundy shimmer from my highlight palette. And then when we get to the inner creases of my eyes, I'm going to do a very, very soft hint of pink. Now typically if I want that pink to show more, I would have put down a super bright concealer first as my base, and then I would have went with that eyeshadow on top of it. But I wasn't super worried about the pink with this look. I was really more looking forward to that little raspberry, burgundy, and brown tone. So I just realized I used the wrong lip liner. Now the correct lip liner that I was supposed to use is like this medium brown. I ended up using my black brown on accident, but my original go-to is a medium brown. Now this color that I'm using is called Go Wild. I don't remember the brand exactly. It's kind of rubbed off the lipstick bottle, but it's like a very soft pink, kind of mixed with a neutral, I don't want to say nude, but it's definitely like a very soft pink, and this is one of my favorite go-tos with almost any lip combination that I'm going to go with. Now secondly, I'm going to use this matte color. It's like a tan, and then after that I'm going to go in with my Neutrogena pink, soft baby pink lip gloss, and then from there we're going to do a butter gloss, and then fourth is going to be a pink lip gloss. can see, I went for like a dark roseberry tone because that's what's in my top. And then like in the corners, I went for like a neutral dark brown with a bronze to top it to match my top. And then I did like a soft yellow highlight on my top brow line. And then for my lips, we went with a super nude, neutral type of tone. And then my under eyes, we went through with like a burgundy